Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Hitch's Black Ops 2 Throwback tournament is over. What a tournament it was. BigTymeR MVP, baby, but Scump the finals MVP for sure. Dominated the losers bracket run all the way to the championship, just like good times. So much reaction and talk about this. We're going to dive into all of it today. Very much into your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thanks very much indeed for doing that one. Firstly, look at this. Hilton back in the building. If you guys have been around many years, you'll know that Hilton in a classically oversized suit just like this with the notepad was doing the same stuff back in the day, so good they brought him back for this one. I believe he's involved nowadays in the kind of Envoy, OpTic as it is now, family as well, in and around the Hex Quarters area, so pretty cool stuff to see. Thought that was a nice little throwback to start off the video, but yeah, honestly, shout out Hitchens, everyone involved in putting on this fantastic event. I think this was, well, certainly, look, it was a Black Ops 2 throwback tournament with the crowd. It was absolutely fantastic to watch. They had all sorts of other stuff going on as well, and yeah, I think Hitch even kind of mentions here that, yeah, next year they're probably going to try and do the same thing all over again, maybe even bigger and better, who knows, because I think Killer, as we'll see in a second, says, you know what, that might be my last ever LAN event, but Hitch is like, look, come back next year, let's do it again, because this is great fun. Hitch and his boys always carry this off season, so just wanted to give a massive, you know, shout out and thanks really to the hard work they've put in behind the scenes, all the money they raised for charity as well. Absolutely fantastic stuff, so shout out everyone involved in this. Just great to see this type of stuff happening within the community, and the way the community kind of comes together to support events like this is what I always think is really fantastic also. But we're going to talk about actually what happened here. So Crim was straight through, they won the winners finals, they were going to be the grand finals team to face either Team Scump or Team Killer. Crim Aches, it was Envoy and JCap, they, well, didn't dominate exactly, but they made that crazy comeback against Shotzzy's team, against, well, it would have been Team Karma, right? And they made the run through winners, taking down Team Scum as well to make the grand finals. And then, well, these are some of the highlight moments, I suppose, really from day one. Pristine Arcitys back in business, and yeah, some other great moments as well all across the map. And honestly, what I thought was so great about Sunday is a lot of these clips I'm going to share for you guys have their kind of, oh my god, he actually, well, Jacob wasn't shooting particularly straight, but there was a lot of throwback value compared to previous kind of tournaments in the Black Ops 2 days, right? Some classic moments kind of made themselves known again. History echoed itself, let's just say. Now, Crim, of course, as I say, was already in the grand finals with Aches, but the first tournament of the day, or first match of the day, was Killer's team versus Team Scum. But look at this, as Alicat points out, knew he was coming diffy when I walked in the video at 2 PM, and he's here shooting bots at Killer. So this is really cool stuff. It's great to see Killer, Black Ops 2 world champion, of course, back in the Call of Duty scene to some degree. He's been out for quite some time. I believe he's now an electrician, so that's kind of what he does as at his day job, which is really cool stuff that Killer's. It's honestly interesting because Killer's such a great personality. I feel like if he came along a couple of years later, then he really would have been, you know, he would have been in that generation that really made a proper killing off this, right? But he was just a little bit too early, right? Okay, he won Black Ops 2 champs, but his career after that kind of didn't go where it maybe could have done, right? And then when the big money came along, that's when Killer's career was already kind of over. So it's kind of crazy to think about the pioneers, and Killer was certainly one of them with all the trash talk, and he was one of the originators in making Call of Duty so popular back in those Black Ops 2 and Ghost days, and he didn't necessarily get the kind of rewards maybe that you might have expected of someone that was that important to COD history, you could argue. So yeah, I think it was just cool to see him back in the venue in general. Like, I think he's doing well, like personally also, so that's great to see as well for some of the OGs, because a lot of the time these guys, like, they retire and then where do they go? Well, we don't really know for a lot of them, so it's great to see Killer still around the scene and getting involved in this. Hopefully he'll be back next year as well, because he was frying, right? He actually still had it, there's no doubt. BigTymeR as well, and they were playing the Ginger Ninja team, of course, of Scump, Arcitys, Pristine, BigTymeR. Here's Arcitys with the Chicago Huntsman jersey on, or with a hoodie on from a couple of years ago when he was on the Huntsman, right? That was certainly a good time as well, and Scump and Arcitys were having a great time running it back as well. I mean, look, they're all teammates at some point or another in their career, apart from BigTymeR, who was, you know, did BigTymeR retire too early? That's a question as well, because he certainly still got it as well, but I think, like, he probably got fed up at the practice and stuff, but he retired back in, like, was it Ghost, or maybe, I think it was Ghost, maybe early Advanced Warfare, but even at that point, he'd been around for a fair few years, so, yeah, crazy stuff, really. But this was the tournament, so this is the losers finals, Killer, Clay, Bose, Methods, Scump, Arcitys, Big T, and Pristine, and honestly, it was kind of one-way traffic. Honestly, this was crazy, I thought, from Scump using the MSMC here on Slum's Hardpoint. Like, this is a vintage Scump moment, of course. We saw him do something similar to this right back in the day with the Scorpion, but, I mean, yeah, look at this. The kill he gets in a second here. Method just scares me. He doesn't really get spot on, but yeah, Scump goes on a very quick 5 or 6 streak right here. Clayster got absolutely destroyed in this one, right? And after the tournament kind of concluded, people have been talking about the stats, and we have some stats, I think, for the grand finals. We'll see in a second. Not the entire tournament stats, and Clay's like, look, please don't look into these tournament stats, because it's probably not looking looking so good for me. But I mean, yeah, Scump, just absolutely vintage stuff. This guy just it's always going to be an absolute force to be reckoned with on the map. And this was the end of that map where he drops 50 kills, 50 and 34, 9 hardpoint captures as well. Clay doesn't have the greatest time on the other side of things. Killer goes 36 and 36. Yeah, Method suppose they were trying to hold their own. But yeah, a 250 to 128 hardpoint game where Scump drops 50. The guy was absolutely going off. And that was enough to win the series. 4-1 in the end, I believe, over Team Killer to close it out. And even as Crone says here, this actually wants to load. He was watching the Eagles versus Cowboys game on his phone while dropping 50 on these guys. So yeah, Scump's at it again. I think it just took him one day to warm up. And once he was warmed up, he's back in business once again. But yeah, Bows and Killer bow out of the tournament. Great weekend, great vibes. Shout out to my teammates. Like, I'm sure the listenings and everything going on, like in the comms between Killer, Bows, Clay, and Method should have been absolute comedy. So, you know, great to see everyone enjoying themselves. And even as Killer says, enjoyed coming back to the scene for the weekend, played hard and tried my best without barely holding a controller for the last year. Shout out Hitch and OpTic and my teammates for a good time. Potentially my last ever LAN means a lot. So, look, I'm sure he's probably said this before. He may well say this again because I'd love to see Killer back next year or for something else because I'm sure they'll try and run something like this back every single year. Maybe not always on Black Ops 2, but with a crowd and everyone involved, it was absolutely fantastic stuff. So then the Grand Finals series. Slayer X Don says, pal right here. I mean, here's X with the Donny Temp shirt that was given to him a couple of days ago. And yeah, as even as Scump says, had the Eagles on the whole time while he was absolutely smoking people here in the Grand Finals. And this is kind of what I was getting at here. There were a few moments which resembled legendary moments from Black Ops 2 history. This being one of them here, right to the end of this capture the flag, going into the overtime. The flag was out, Scump was trying to run it home, and then Crim comes up on spawn and then throws a god nade all the way across the map, takes down Scump with this grenade. I mean, yeah, look how perfect. Okay, well, the grenade didn't kill him, but then the truck killed him, so it wasn't quite OpTic van, but it wasn't too far away. And then there wasn't quite enough time to get the flag in after that. So great nade from Crimsix to clutch up when required. And then there was even this clutch as well. So I'll show a few of these on screen for you guys, obviously, with a Scump clutching a 1 versus 3 in the Grand Finals here. So at this point, it's 3-3. The series was progressing really nicely. I believe Axe's team went up 2-0. Then it was maybe 3-2, 3-3. It was a really close fought affair. Best of 9 in the finals here. And Scump clutches a crazy 1 versus 3 here. Hilton's behind them, gassing the team up. Yeah, honestly, the fact that Axe and Envoy kind of threw this one away is crazy. But I mean, look at Scump with the wall bang, and then just destroys Envoy with like 5 bullets left in the mag. So yeah, definitely teaching the new kids how to do it.
And you're out. You might be one chopping the knife in hand. You do run faster, but Big T, that's his van. But that's not his flag, or maybe it is Big T.
Bows! Oh my God! Back to back is still safe. The flag's still in play. Big gunfight now. You got to manage to get across the map.
You got to go through mid. You got to go through mid and run there as fast as you can. Scump is running for victory. 7 seconds left.
Can he make it? Makes the dive. Dodges. No! Queer with a nade. 3 seconds. Arcitys picks it up. Run! Go! No! It's over. Oh my God! Crim with the Kobe.
He knows every nade spot. He knows it all.
God, that's 4.
Oh,
Crim ain't missing.
He is Crim. Scump at that range with the Amazon. All right, here we go. Let's go to Axe and see any more shots he misses.
That's so mean. Yeah,
It was kind of mean, wasn't it? Hey, I can say that. He's having a good time in the Grand Finals.
Yeah, Scump unfortunately just looking for the snipe too, so not really putting himself in a spot with too much time. Ace is looking for the snipe on this.
I mean, they might fly for this. Wait.
Oh!
Oh my God! Oh no!
And even there was that clip there of BigTymeR when he kind of had an OpTic van-esque moment, right? The OpTic van, of course, the actual OpTic van is on standoff. The blue van that's kind of near one of the capture the flag points. And Big T threw a nade and it didn't quite blow up the van yet, BigTymeR, but he took down like 3 kills in a very similar BigTymeR-esque spot. So I was kind of hoping there'd be some sort of Big T OpTic van moment, and thankfully we got exactly that. But yes, in the end, 5-3, Scump and the boys just went off on hardpoint slums, the final map of the series. Interesting in a way, just because it was Aches and Crim usually that were the absolute dominant force on this map, the complexity team way back in the day, but in the end they kind of ran out of gas a little bit. Aches in fairness was kind of frying. BigTymeR, I think over the entire tournament, I'd give him the MVP. Scump for the finals though was absolutely built different, there's no doubt, and Bristini and Arcitys are always going to be great players as well. So yeah, they won the tournament 5-3 in the grand finals. What a tournament it was. And yeah, Scump walks away with the championship. What does this mean? Does this count as an official championship victory? Does it count as, we saw the other day actually that Scump and Crim's record squads against each other in grand finals on LAN, I guess, is 2-2, maybe online included. But yeah, now is it 3-2 in favor of Scump? Like, you know, obviously it doesn't really count for that much, but it still is pretty interesting that Scump comes back to this and gets the victory. And BigTymeR as well, right? I mean, yeah, look at this. He gets the trophy. Scump's absolutely gassed with himself, and you can't blame him. Obviously, he plays very well this tournament. Does this have any additional value for any particular player's legacy or not, right? But I just thought it was cool, not just for the guys that are still competing or have just competed, the likes of, you know, Crim and Scump were just playing last season, Arcitys, Rossini will be going forwards, but for the likes of Killer and even Boz. I mean, Boz had his moments with the grenades. Like, I used to love watching Boz's videos back in the day, because this guy would have the craziest grenades, and he looks like he's just throwing them randomly, but they'd always connect, and I was always kind of impressed by that, and he was still doing it in this tournament here. Killer as well, was great to see him back in business. BigTymeR also, right? I mean, this guy was one of the best players in the world for the early part of Call of Duty. It's considered like the greatest of all time for a reason, because for a time, I'm pretty sure he was in the Guinness Book of World Records, BigTymeR, for the most earnings from like Call of Duty tournaments or something like that. Before that, very swiftly got passed, I suppose, within a couple of years. But Big T was very much up there early on. I believe he was in the Guinness Book of World Records. Maybe I've absolutely faded for that, but I think there was something like that going on there with BigTymeR in the early days. And then he retired relatively young, really, in his career compared to how long people compete for nowadays. And he's back in business, playing incredibly well. So that was cool to see also. And X gives his response here. I know people were expecting X to come up with some sort of excuse, and he says the following: me and Porter got to be cursing these Black Ops 2 tourneys. Maybe that's the good excuse here. That's 3 years in a row we run through the winners bracket first day, and then grand finals is so trolly. GG's and thank you to Hitch and TST. So I suppose he'll be back for revenge. But yeah, yet again, they dominate. Well, not really dominate, but they went through kind of comfortably into the grand finals. Like they were going to be the favourites for the grand finals, and then go down 5-3 at the end of the tournament as well. Now look at some stats real quick, because I don't believe we have the full stats yet. I think there's some people maybe looking into it to try and either count the kill feed or whatever is required to find the stats. Sometimes the scoreboards would come up, sometimes they wouldn't, so a little bit difficult. But apparently Scump had a 1.37 in the finals. So over, this is honestly like such a vintage Scump. He used to do this stuff back in the day as well, in a tournament just like this, Black Ops 2 Ghosts, that type of era, when his team wouldn't be doing so hot, and he dropped a 1.4 for the win. It's happened before, it happened right here again. So yeah, just impressive stuff. Great times as well. Shout out to everyone who helped run this, and hopefully we can run it back next season yet again as well. But very much into your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you are new, take care, and I'll see you next time.
There's two in the corner. They're gonna go, just rotate, guys, just rotate, give it up, just give it up. Alright. Good job. If you can get that time, that's huge. Let's go!